Welcome back to Flip Side, everyone. And I am Scotty G with Jimmy G and Davey D right here beside of me. And I guess we're going to turn the reins over to Jimbo on this one because this one was his pick. So he can kind of enlighten us maybe on why, how, where, and when. So take over.
All right. Well, thank you, Scotty G. And as always, the Down Under Dave, who's actually under the weather down under Dave today.
Oh shit!
But he's pushing through. So yeah. So this was my pick this week, and I picked Eric Clapton's Slowhand. This was one of my favorite albums when I was in high school. And I think I started listening to Clapton for the same reason a lot of people did. He was considered a guitar god, right? He did that fantastic solo on While My Guitar Gently Weeps, for the Beatles. He was in Cream, which was one of the influential bands of the 60s, and probably the first power trio. But I bought a number of his albums in the 70s because that's, when I was a record buying person, as a teenager. And what I found out was he was actually a good songwriter in many ways, right? He covered a lot of people's songs. So he did a lot of covers. While he was known for his soloing, right? This album, feels very laid back. It's very kind of, that one right there. Yeah. He there's moments where he shines with his guitar, but he also does a very good job with his voice, right? He's got a kind of that heartfelt ability to sing kind of ballads. So the blues, in a sense, he's not a guy known for great vocal range or anything. I kind of consider myself like him in that regard. I don't have a huge range. I know where I sit. And he doesn't try to do anything he can't really do. But he had a lot of good, solid people around him, including a number of female backing vocalists and during the 70s. And two of them were Marcy Levy and Yvonne Elliman. And Yvonne Elliman obviously left after this album and went on to have her own solo career, which was pretty good, right? She had a couple of top 40 hits. If I Can't Have You and Love Me, and she had been part of the Jesus Christ Superstar stage play, and she played Mary Magdalene in that, and she also released the single, from that show. But all in all, for me, I always like this album because it's kind of got a little bit of everything, though it does have a very kind of a laid back feel to it, and that's on purpose. I didn't really realize until I started buying his albums that that's what I was getting in the 70s. It was more about kind of a singer-songwriter thing with some blues in there, but it's not a typical blues thing, right? You think of blues, you're thinking of stuff like Muddy Waters and B.B. King and things like that. And there's some of that, but blues can also be part of just kind of regular songs. And so in that regard, that's why I liked this album. I just thought it was some good songs. He didn't write them all, and I'll touch on some of those, but that's my take on this album and why I picked it.
I was going to say, Scotty, Steve says female backing vocalists are awesome, right, Scotty?
Yeah, to the bone, man. No, 50-50, man. It's just according when they come in and how they sing when they show up.
I was going to say, too, Jim, her big
whether
song
I
was
prefer them or not.
11, wasn't it? Did you get that, Jim?
Okay.
I said her big single of Jesus Christ Superstar was I I Don't Know How to Love Him, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know how to tell him how I love him or something. Whatever that was. Yeah, that was her big single. Yeah, 1970, I think. Yeah.
All right,
No,
Scotty,
but she had her
you've got
own
the album.
solo career, right? I do not have the
You've got
album.
the album, Scotty. So, what did you think of it?
Oh, this album. Yeah.
This is not my album. This was either. It had to be one of my brothers or my sister's album or somebody. It was at my mom and dad's house, so I kept it because it had Eric Clapton on it, and of course it's in great condition. It's original, not a reprint, and maybe one of these centuries it might be worth something, but yeah, this is driving off of the dirt road wide open for me, man. This is not me at all. I've never been a Clapton fan. I don't know much, if any, of his stuff that I've ever liked. I will say I do remember a couple of things with Cream that I think that's as heaviest as he's ever been in his career that I've heard. Anyway, now I started out telling Rob that I hated this fucking album. But the more I listen to it, there's some nostalgia on here that defers me from hating it. There's a couple on here I've got a lot of nostalgic memories and stuff with. And there's one on here, surprisingly, because I've never listened to this album. This is a first for me as far as the entirety of it. That I'll explain when we get to it. And like Jim said, yes, they do jab at very bluesy sound on here on a couple of these songs. That it actually is not terrible, because I love that shit, especially when it's incorporated into heavier music, your AC/DC and stuff like that. You can't fucking beat it. That's right, Rob. Yeah, man, look, I respect Eric Clapton. I definitely respect his work that he's done. He's extreme in the minority here because he's done a lot. I mean, and he's pretty much succeeded in everything he's ever done. So all I can do is give my personal opinion, which that's all I ever do. No, I'm not a Clapton fan. No, I'm not crazy about his music. I never really have been. I was always one of those people who's trying to figure out what the big deal was. To me, he's not the greatest vocalist, that's for sure. And the music, it's subpar at best. He reminds me of another person that I can't stand anything he does, and that's fucking Bob Dylan. I can't stand the air he breathes, for God's sakes. I've never heard one thing he sung or played that I like. Not one, not yet anyway. So there is people that I dislike more than Eric Clapton. So yeah, but I can't deny or jab at his success because he is one of the most successful musicians probably of all time. So there you go. It's a give or take thing. And when it comes to this style of music, yeah, they might have something that grabs me once in a while, but overall body of work, I'm not impressed. So coming from a metalhead, of course, so yeah, man, but honor, respect, yes. I can't take any of that away from the guy. Everything he's done and been in has been successful. So what the fuck can you say? You really can't say nothing, but you just don't like their flavor, basically. So that's it. That's where I stand on this. So Dave?
All right. Yeah, look, I don't think I've ever heard this album before either. Obviously, I'd heard of this album, and I know lots of people that like it, but I'm only really familiar with the first 3 tracks on this album.
Me too.
Yeah, and I think it's it's one of those albums that it's classic because every song earns its place as being this mega thing, and then you get those albums that are classics because of a few tracks. And I think this album's a classic because of a few tracks. This is very laid back. I mean,
yes,
I could probably fall asleep listening to this. And sometimes that might be good because if you really want to chill, it is very chilled. It actually surprised me when I put it on. It was not what I was expecting to hear, and that's probably just because hearing more of Eric Clapton with his singles than listening to his albums. So that's probably just me. Wasn't aware of what he really. I know he liked blues, and I know he incorporates blues into some of his songs, but some of these were really down that alley. So yeah, we'll see how we go with each track, but.
Okay, yeah, and I was expecting a little more cream-ish vibe too. You know what I'm saying? But hey, it's like I said, man. This was what 1975 or something.
77.
77.
77. Okay, yeah, and like I said, the guy's got the album in plastic here. Yeah, he's got it in the same thing as Leonard Skinner Gold and Platinum here. So yeah. This one, it wasn't my album. Like I said, it was, it had to be a family member's that had just left it there. And of course, who the hell don't know Eric Clapton, right? I mean, you've been under a fucking rocker on Mars if you don't know actually who the guy is. That's about like these guys. If you don't know them, whether you like them or not, you know who the hell they are. So basically that's the same way, but anyway, yeah. Let's get into the tracks.
Well, I was going to say, that's probably it. In 1977, I was more likely listening to Love Gun by Kiss than I was Eric Clapton. So it's probably why, I never really heard any of his albums at that
And
stage.
just for the record, Dave, I did own the Love Gun album. So take that to the bank, all you guys that say I hate Kiss. I own the Love Gun album.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Well, you owned a damn good. You owned a damn good one then. If you owned any of those 70s albums, you owned the creme de la creme, bro. With the exception of a couple of the solo albums. So there you go. There you go. Yeah.
So I'm not as close-minded as some people think that I am. I was a teenager.
Oh no. Yeah, I mean, look.
You weren't a big Kiss fan, but I know plenty of people who aren't Kiss fans that do like some of their music. So
Exactly. And like I said, I do like some of Clapton's music, but it's a very far and few between thing with his Cream venture and different things. Like I said, there's actually one on here. Well, we'll get to it. I don't want to say too much. Yeah.
Well, let's get to track number 1.
All right, I get to go first.
Scotty. Well, yeah,
all right.
Let Jim go first.
All right. Well, you want to put Jim over in the first slot.
All right. I'll drag you over. There you go.
There we go.
There you go.
So this is probably the most famous or infamous song right on the album, right? Everyone knows this song. It was written by J.J. Cale, not by Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton covered a lot of J.J. Cale songs, including After Midnight, which he also made a big hit, which made a bunch of money for J.J. Cale. He did 2 versions of that. One was a fast version, and then one was a slow version, which I think they used in Michelob commercials or something in the late 80s, if I remember. Anyway, the song, it's not a call to glorify the drug. it kind of covers the addictive habit and the perils that can be of using it too much, right? So it's not a pro cocaine song. It's kind of a, hey, be careful song with it. But it became a staple of his live shows. Everyone wanted to, and you get to that part and everyone yells out cocaine, right? So it was a big deal live for him. It's got a good solo. It has a lot of overdub guitars, right? So a lot of guitars that play back and forth against each other, right? Because it's not just one guitar doing all of that stuff. It's kind of back and forth, so it was one of his big ones, because of the subject matter, I think, is really what made it. And but yeah, it's still very laid back, right? So you think of it as a blistering song. Live, it's not quite as laid back, but on the album it's laid back. So
Okay, yeah, man. Now this is one right here that I can listen to. This is the song on this album by Clapton that I actually can say that I do like. I've heard it a million times. And yes, and you got to understand, the mid 70s to the early 80s was the drug of choice, and the drug that was like meth is nowadays was cocaine. The disco days, that shit was rampant. I mean, if you listen to any of, the exception of probably Gene's book, but Paul, Ace, and Peter's book, their books, man, you can just, everybody that was anybody was doing cocaine back then. The Road Man, I mean, he's singing about all kinds of things with this drug right here, man. But anyway, very well put together, especially for a drug-induced song. Very well accepted for a song named Cocaine. Hell, man, if a metal band would have come out with a heroin song or something like that, they'd probably been branded at the stake or some shit, But this one right here, it's got a good groove. I love the guitar playing in it. I know it's not, electrifying or anything like that, but there's good musicianship in the song. He sings it well. I've got nothing against this song right here. It's got a little punchy beat to it, man. Kind of a dance song, really. People can get up and groove to this song, man, while they're doing their cocaine. And, hey, man, everybody's partying and having a good time. So there you go, man. Cocaine is probably one of the best songs, in my opinion, he's ever created.
I was going to say, Scott, is there any truth to the rumor that the first 100 copies of Ace's book had white powder on them?
I don't have the books. I wished I did now. And I'm sure I could get copies of them or whatever. But I listen to the audio books. I'm not much of a reader, unfortunately. I like listening to them. That's why, trying to read the Bible was just unbelievable for me because, I'm so ADD anyway, man. I'm reading, but I'm not soaking anything in after page 2, So I listen to things. So I listen to all their books, and I wouldn't doubt it, man. I don't know how he lived as long as he did. Call it fate, Peter too, that he's still alive. Thank God they did quit when they did, but Ace was always clumsy as hell, and that wound up getting the best of him there in the end.
I was going to say, Keith Richards is still alive, and that's probably a miracle.
That's he's the devil. He's the devil. If that guy right there is still living, then that there is a God or there is a devil somewhere. Oh man.
All right, Cocaine. This is probably, the song I think most people, if you ask them an Eric Clapton song, it's the song they would know. To me, the riff is great. I think, as Scotty said, it's got a great groove to it. It's not blistering. I still think it's a good opener for an album. But does it promise something that never really arrives on this album?
For a lot of people,
We-
yeah.
We
And
shall
of course,
find out.
for a lot of people, no, though. You know, like I said, everybody's got their own thing, and you know, we'll see as we go, though. Like he said, you know, we'll have to
Well, I
wait to
said
see.
it's a great opening track, and it promises so much. So you hope, we plow on from here. But we shall see how
Hey,
much we plow.
and a lot of opening tracks do that. I mean,
They do.
even though I do love the majority of Billy Idol's Rebel Yell, man, that first track you just can't beat. You know, so there's a lot of albums that are like that, man. In my opinion, Love Gun's that way, but that's a fucking phenomenal album. But I Stole Your Love, that is hard to kick. So there you go, man. I mean, them first tracks, dude. I agree with putting your best song on that first track. I agree. But I agree you do need to back it up too, somewhere in the album. But that's just me. There you go.
Oh, that's probably more for you there, Jim.
Yeah, if we did the Smiths album on this show, it'd be I think Scotty might roll over and die. So that'll happen to be on a Monday night at some point in time. It's not going to happen on Tuesday, I don't think. I like the Smiths, but I don't think that anybody else on this panel. Dave, you know who they are, so I mean, I know.
I do know who they are. Yes,
they have some great songs. Johnny Marr is a great guitar player. To me, so I'll veer off for 1 second just for Del Sebring there. Johnny Marr is to Morrissey what Steve Stevens is to Billy Idol. The two of them are great together, and they've made some great music, and I'll leave it at that for now. All right, let's go to the next song.
All right, track number 2.
And I say yes, you look wonderful tonight. Go to a party.
All right, so
Jim, you look wonderful tonight.
Well, thank you, Dave. I look wonderful tonight, and I would play it for you, but I'm not going to. I think some things that people don't know is songs don't have to be really complicated to be good songs. It's only got 4 chords in it.
Hell no. No, they don't.
It rotates.
You're
its
right.
way through. It's he wrote this for his then wife Patty Boyd, who everyone knows. This is the famous and infamous love triangle of Patty Boyd, George Harrison, and Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton fell in love with George Harrison's wife, Patty Boyd, in the late 60s. But she rebuked him, and that's why he wrote Layla. He wrote Layla for her. Now, George had written something, which was on Abbey Road, for her. When they finally divorced, she finally eventually gave in to Eric Clapton, and by 77 she married him, right? And so he wrote this song for her, and it's just a story, but the guitar lick, right, you can hear the blues and that, and it's a really simple guitar lick. I think these are the kinds of things that his voice is really well suited for, right? I think it because he's got that kind of just, I don't want to call it a boring voice, but it's mellow in a way. Even when he sings loud, he's not, you know what I mean? But I think for that, it's just a simple, elegant love song to his wife, right? He's talking about going to a party, and he gets drunk, and she has to help him to bed and things like that. I mean, it's just hasn't that happened to anybody before? But and fun fact with the whole love triangle, when he married Patty Boyd, George Harrison was at the wedding, Paul McCartney was at the wedding, and Ringo was at the wedding. They were all there, and there was a jam set up, and they all kind of jammed together. So it was the closest thing a Beatle reunion ever happened, but it did. And I think Paul actually played the drums or something during this thing. But it's just a weird thing that, a guy goes after somebody's wife and he eventually ends up with her, but they're still best friends. I don't think that happens very, very often, in real life, but it did. It just, I guess, speaks to George Harrison, I guess, in a way, as to his ability to move forward. By then, he was remarried too. So anyway, I think it's just a nice, beautiful love song. If you like ballads, I like ballads too, Dave. Not just you. It's simple. It's understated, right? And that's why I think it's a nice love song.
I was going to say with my first wife, I would have let my best friend take her.
Hell yeah, I'd have been his best man, right? But yeah, man, this one is simple, and that's why I do like this one a little bit. You know, not as good as Cocaine, but if I'm in the mood and I'm with the right person, and I have been when this song has been on, it's perfect for that kind of situation, dude. You can't deny that. I've danced to this song. You know, it's one of those songs, man, that really, really gets them in the mood, dude. And you too, actually. But it's not bad at all, man. It's a song that's built for that. It seems like structured around that, you know. And it's like I said, it's the bluesy guitar, the slow beat. It's not designed to be high octane or fast pace or anything like that. It's just a love song, man. Pretty much like instead of a hair ballad, that would just be a ballad on his album. And one that I'm pretty sure everybody knows. This song here is just as big and popular as Cocaine, man.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you,
I mean,
really,
somebody put in the comments, it's a staple at wedding receptions, right?
Oh yeah, stuff like that. Absolutely. You know, is it something I listen to on purpose or on daily? No, but if the mood is right, you're with somebody you want to be with, blah blah blah. This is as good a song as you can have. Come on, as any. So, yeah, these first two I really ain't got much to pick at and or say a lot about. They're not bad. I like Cocaine. This one here, in the right setting, the right mood, is a damn good song. So that's my take.
All right. Yeah, another one of these songs, I actually remember this more from his Unplugged album than I do from back here. And I probably prefer the Unplugged version, to be honest. But this is just one of those simple songs. I mean, I'm not a great musician, but, you know, it sounds simple. There's not much going on, but, you know, I think there's enough, you know, you can feel the heartfelt message that's being sent, which, you know, to me, that's what a good ballad should do anyway. So, yeah, a bit like Scotty, there's nothing you can really say bad about this song. Would I want to listen to it all the time? No, probably not. But, you know, given the right situation, the right mood, yeah, it's definitely one of those songs you'd put on.
Agreed.
So we're 2 from 2. We all like the first two songs.
Yeah.
This sounds like a lot of the other albums we've been doing.
The album, I better like most of it, right? Or Motley would be calling me out.
Well, no, because Scotty did Enough last week, and he only liked half of it.
Yeah, and he got called out in the comments for not liking part of it, for being honest, right? I mean,
yeah, man. I mean, if I like half of an album, and now I'm being clear about this. If I like half of an album, now it's not subpar half of an album. If I think at least half of that album has at least 5 great songs on a 10-track album or 4 on an 8-track, whatever, I consider that a successful album. I consider that a good, well, not really successful, but to me, I consider it a good album, a really good album. If the songs are that good, it overweighs the bad for me. That's just the way I look at it. So
I agree with you. Like we talked about before, we've all bought albums where there's been one good song on it, you know, and it's the first song, and then the rest of them are kind of really mediocre, and you think, God, I wasted my money. I could have just bought the single, right? You know, but you know, I took a chance and bought the album, and you know, but if you can get half of them, yeah, I think that's a win as a consumer, right? Back in those days, I don't know anymore. I don't know what's this. I haven't bought a CD in a long, long time. No, I just put the guitar on because this is what I do when I sit here. Is I gotta fidget with stuff. But
me too.
the $20 for a CD or something, and you get 10 songs and 5 of them are good. You know, I don't know what is that, $4 a song that's for good. But in the old days, when you paid $5 for an album or $7 for an album, you got 5 good ones. That was well worth the money, right? And then you just made a mixtape.
Well, I was
Damn
going to
right.
say, so you guys all know that I was a big Sweet fan growing up, and whenever they put out a single, their B-side was always something that was not on an album. So
That's what the Police used to do.
You bought the single and the album because you wanted the B-side of it as well. And quite often, those B-sides were so good, and you think, why didn't they make the album?
So I like bands that do that. So the Police did that. All the Police singles, the B-sides were not on albums. And fun fact, I know I talk about the Beatles way too much, but in England especially, they did not put singles on their albums. They didn't want people to pay twice for the same song. And I thought, you know, that's thinking pretty highly of your fans, right? To say, you know, you bought the single and the B-side, and then you want us to put those 3 singles that we're going to release on the same album, and now you just paid for them again. That was a good thing they had. Now, that wasn't the case in America. The Americans, the Capitol Records, you know, screwed over the American public with Beatles stuff. But in England, you know, they didn't. They people got their money's worth over there.
Do you know Todd? Do you?
Do I know Todd? What? Do I know Todd? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the guitar, so I don't play with myself. Yeah, because I sit here, you know. Yeah, that's what I figured.
Wouldn't you like to know, Steve? Wouldn't you like to know? All right. Let's get into track number 3.
Sure.
Stay with me, and don't you ever leave. Lay down, Sally, and rest here in my arms. Don't you think you want someone to talk to? Lay down, Sally, no need to leave so soon. I've been trying all night long just to talk to you.
All right. So this is kind of a country rock song. It was co-written with his guitar player, George Terry, and the backing vocalist, Marcy Levy. So he wrote part of it, and they wrote. So the reason it's really this whole laid back thing, in the 70s, Clapton, after Derek and the Dominoes, his band, his touring band, his recording band, were all mainly musicians from Tulsa, Oklahoma. And it had Carl Radle on bass, Jamie Oldaker on drums. Anyway, it was really this kind of laid back country rock kind of thing, right? And that's where J.J. Cale was from. So all their albums, they kind of played this way. Also in the 70s, most people know, but you know, Clapton was a raging drunk in the 70s. He was drunk, and he got most of his albums in the 70s got panned pretty good by the critics, you know, for being really not very good until this one came out. This one kind of put him back. He was still a drunk, but this album came out better, right? But this is another example. It's just a 3-chord song, just A, D, and E over and over and over again, except for the solo, it's just all 1 chord. Again, they just kind of playing back and forth. Guitars overlaid on top of each other, creating that whole thing. So, like I say, it's just, to me, it's just a sit and chill out. I don't drink wine or anything, but I think if you drink wine, you sit back, or maybe back in the 70s, if you sparked up or whatever, maybe that was what it was all about. I don't know. I was a kid. Not that kids didn't do that stuff in there, but I just didn't. So I think it's just a simple country rock song with some guitar picking in it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. This is a good song.
Yeah, this one here, I've heard this one a lot too. This one I don't care for. I never was a country fan, and growing up, I always thought this was a country song. I never did know that was Clapton even singing the damn thing. Because because my mom always listened to country music, old country music. Not this ain't country music that's plays nowadays. I'm talking George Jones, Tammy Wynette, Conway Twitty, that kind of country music, you know, Hank Williams, stuff like that. But yeah, this is a little too taking a dive into pure country sound right here, man. Even the vocals. So yeah, I never knew this was him for a long time. And when I seen this album again, I thought, damn, that song's on here. I didn't even know what was on this album, to be honest with you. But yeah, this is definitely not my cup of tea here. Like I said, I've never liked country music anyway. And this sounds way too much like country music to me. Not nowhere near as bad as rap, but I don't like country music. So there you go.
All right. Well, I'm going to piggyback right off you too, Scotty, because I don't like this one either. I'm a bit like you. I'm not really into country music. You said not your cup of tea. To me, this is like a cup of tea without the tea bag. It's just, you know, water. It's no substance. So I've never liked it. I don't know what it is. I know some people say it's a groovy little song. No, you lose me here. You definitely lose me here.
Evidently, a lot of people did like it because it was played all the time too back then, man. I mean, you heard the song a lot. So, but yeah, it never was my thing.
Hey,
Dave's going for the sound bites. Last week it was pizza without cheese, and this is tea without the tea bag. Rob's got that queued up already. He's already clipped that. And that'll be on tonight by 10 o'clock. Dave says, "Lay down, Sally" is like tea without the tea bag. Wow, man.
No tea bagging. Yeah.
No tea bagging. No.
Yeah.
Well, Scotty brought up the cup of tea, so I had to use it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tea without the tea bag. Wow.
Yeah. It's just a glass of water.
You're on a roll.
That's just a glass of water, man. Yeah. There you go.
Some hot water too. It's not good for anything.
Was the water hot at least? Was the water hot or was it cold?
But who wants to drink hot water?
Well, I mean,
if you want to throw up, that's the best thing to drink. If you're sick, nauseated, turn up some good warm water.
Give me a nice, refreshing glass of hot water. Yum, yum.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if track 4 does something better.
Putting my yoke on. Next time you see her, tell her that I love her. Next time you see her, tell her that I care. Next time you see her, tell her that I love her. Next time I see you, boy, you better beware.
I think he should have sung this on a different day. His voice is really rough, really rough on this one. You know, I get where he's going with the songwriter. It's another bluesy kind of songwriter. It's about a broken relationship, and he's you know, telling the other guy, you know, next time you see her, tell her I love her. And then at the end, next time you see her, you better beware. And there's a line that says, you know, I will surely kill you, right? So he sounds like a guy who's a little bit jealous, but his voice was not in good shape on this thing. So just for that, it's kind of, not great. I don't know if they ran out of time or something. He should, but he maybe could have done it on a different day or something. And maybe that would have helped it a little bit. But
I was going to say, it definitely sounds like he got to the studio after a heavy night of drinks
compared to the first 3 songs, right? Compared to the first 3 songs, his voice is pretty clear, right? And on this one, it just really sounds like he's been gargling with sandpaper or something, right? So it's even I won't sing something like that.
This one here, it sounds like he went straight into the studio after he done a live performance, man, or something, and and he didn't drink anything in between, you know. So yeah, and it's just a steady, slow, boring song for me. It never really goes anywhere. Nothing builds at all on it, and it's just what it is. I know I don't like it. You know, I might put it hand in hand with "Lay Down, Sally," but at least it don't sound as country as "Lay Down, Sally." I know it's a slow song, but "Lay Down, Sally" just sounds like a fucking country sound and song. Something I despise. But yeah, this one here, man, he's just either too much cocaine or too much performing without rest. There you go. Yep.
Well, I'll just be really simple here. Compared to "Lay Down, Sally," this is even worse.
Yeah, yeah.
This is like this is like my drunk uncle, thinking he can sing, and he can't. This is what you call filler.
Yeah,
100%. There's a big crack in the wall, and they put a whole lot of filler in this one. But to be fair, it's not the worst one.
No, it's not.
So
it's close. It's close, but no.
It is close, but it's not the
Damn,
worst
that's
one.
hard. Yeah, that's gonna be hard. All right.
But the good thing is Jim didn't like it either.
Yeah.
So we've all decided we don't like this one.
Yes.
Thanks, Jim. It's good that we agree with you. All right.
I hate the vocal most of all on this. That's all.
Well, and unfortunately, in a song that has someone singing in it, it sort of becomes a very important part, doesn't it?
It absolutely does.
Because we've all had those songs where we think if it was sung by anyone else.
Yeah.
You know, Darren would have said Motley Crue's entire catalog.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it had been sung by
I still
somebody
can't get that to this day. I still can't get that one. Holy shit.
All right. Let's go to track number 5.
We could go wherever we should be. So don't put words between us we shouldn't say. And don't be acting halfway when you know we're all away.
So this is another cover song written by a guy named Don Williams. You know, it's just a love song with some subtle backing vocals, you know, from the girls. Just kind of a chill song. It's not offensive. It doesn't one way or the other with me, right? I hate to say filler, but it's kind of filler, right? It's really short. Was it 2 minutes long? Maybe 2.5 at the top, right? And like I said, just another mellow kind of thing. But his voice is better in this one than it was in the last one. So I give him that.
All right. Now, this one here is terrible. Look, slow, boring, and absolutely sounds like it come off Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Fucking Moon or something. Holy
Don't you dare insult that album.
That's the worst album Pink Floyd ever done, for God's sakes. Oh my God.
Scotty, take that back.
Another The Wall, baby. The Wall.
It's a good album, but nowhere near in the same league.
Oh yes. It dominates Dark Side of the Moon, brother. But anyway. Well, that's for another debate right there. Anyway,
well, I would,
but yeah, man,
the other day it's an album we couldn't do because The Wall is just way too many songs on it.
Oh no! We can do The Wall, but anyway, we can do a 2-segment part.
We'd have to
of The Wall or something like. But yeah, this one here goes hand in hand with track number 4. Is that what it was? Yeah, his vocals are clearer, but I believe the music is actually worse on this one than what was on the other one. So you're going to have to take a trade off from one to the other. Vocals. God damn it, Kylie. Get the fuck out of here. Fucking cat. Anyway, I don't like it. Let me clean this damn mess up his cat just caused. You guys go ahead.
Go flying. All right.
Yeah, we'll beat her fucking ass.
Not on TV. I'm gonna piggyback off Scotty again too, because well, I agree with you, Jim. The vocal is better on this. The song is worse. To me, this is the worst track on the album. I found this to be quite lifeless. It probably feels a bit like I do at the moment. You know, like I don't know. I don't get this album. I'm a bit like other people said. You know, you almost expect this to be like a guitar god kind of album. Maybe the title of the album gives it away by saying Slowhand, because obviously it's all quite slow. But yeah, this definitely takes, to me, the worst song on the album. Which means it can only get better from here.
It can only get better from here. Yeah,
it can only get better from here.
You know, when I started buying Clapton albums in the 70s, I was thinking that they were all going to be just, you know, rip roaring guitar solo songs, and they're not. You know, he does plenty of these kinds of things in between having songs with the big solos or the traditional blues kinds of things, right? So as compared to if you see him live, right? So I saw him live in the late 70s, and that, you know, everything's, you know, when people go out on the road and they're doing live, right? They're not playing all these ballads, right? You know, he did Wonderful Tonight, right? Because it was very popular, but you know, he's doing cocaine and he's playing that thing for like 8 or 10 minutes, right? And they're doing those kinds of things, right? And so it's much more lively as a live show than it is in, you know, to hear on an album, right? This album was produced. We talked about this last night, right? It's produced it's very soft, right? It's almost like a soft rock. I don't want to call it yacht rock because it's not that, but it's really soft. It doesn't have a lot of bite to it in terms of, like somebody said, you know, when you think of Clapton, you think of, you know, a bunch of searing solos and stuff. And I think even some of his live albums, the solos don't always come across that way. But when he wants to, he can. And I think that sometimes he didn't want to, for whatever reason. Maybe he didn't want to try to live into that, his legacy or whatever you want to call it, right? And I guess he was very much a drunk during the 70s, right? And you know, when you're inebriated and stuff like that, you're not at your best. You know, you just aren't. I know. He must have been
hanging out with Alice Cooper back then, because Alice was a slobber drunk, bro. Yeah, they had to send him away because he got to where he was drinking so much he couldn't even feel the nerve endings in his fingers anymore. So
that album that came out in the late 70s, From the Inside, was all about him being in rehab. But anyway, let's get back.
I was going to say, I was going to do a community service announcement.
Go ahead.
Anyone in the North Carolina area, Scotty is having barbecued cat tomorrow. So if anyone's interested, pop around to Scotty's house.
I thought they just did squirrel.
Normally they
muskrat.
do. Muskrat. I thought it was Democrats.
We do. We definitely do that here. Yeah.
All right. Let's get to the next one.
When there is hate, there is longing, anger, and worry.
The Core. So this was written by Clapton and the female singer. This is one of those ones I really like it, but I wish like it had been produced a little hotter, right? That just kind of give it a little bit more stuff. It's got a lot. It's a lot of stuff going in. This one has a ton of guitar solos in it, right? Along with some other solos. They trade off the vocals. She's clearly a far superior singer than he is, so that's kind of he's got to try and hold his own, and the way he does that is by playing the guitar. It's but Scotty's favorite instrument kicks off the whole solo stuff with the saxophone, but it's not a traditional saxophone solo, right? When you hear sax solos, they kind of always kind of the same. This one, they kind of tries to play the sax almost like a guitar, so it's kind of interesting. Of course, but when he does start soloing on this thing, he does come in hot and both barrels blazing on this song. So if you like the guitar histrionics, this is on there. There's a good groove with the bass and the drums, right? That are going on, and I know a lot of people don't really pay much attention to the organ, but that guy's playing some really choppy stuff. He's making some really interesting sounds with the organ. So I like this song. This was kind of one of my, this is actually on side 2 of the album. So this was like my favorite song on side 2. It is 8 minutes long, but this is one I think where if you're looking for guitar solos, it's in here, because of the 8 minutes, probably 4 minutes of it is, soloing and stuff. So I would venture to say that this might be the better song on this side of the album from a groove standpoint, if you're looking to wake up after the last couple of songs, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did put, at least they did pick the tempo up a little bit. The female singer, whoever that is not bad. I mean, I'll give her credit for that. She can sing, whoever the hell she is. But yeah, the horns, it's just not my cup of tea again. But I do like the tempo change from the last couple of songs a little bit better, but nothing I would listen to on purpose again. Let's see, what did I write down? I think that was it. Just a tempo change and the female vocals. Yeah, no, I'm not crazy about this one either, but I like it better than the last two. That's about all I got to say about this one.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. This is a huge step up from the previous songs for me. And we all know Scotty is only comfortable with his own horn.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Another soundbite.
Yeah. I think the saxophone works really well in lots of songs. I'm a big Supertramp fan, and they exploited that a whole lot. Oh, you don't like Supertramp? Oh, I should do a Supertramp album just for Scotty then. Come on, Scotty. Right. You're bloody well right.
my
Jim would like
God.
Supertramp, wouldn't you, Jim?
I know that one, yeah.
See?
That was an early
Breakfast
one.
in America. Come on.
That would be
Anyway.
almost as bad as torturing me with a Yes album or some shit.
Oh, I've got one of those in there. Owner of a lonely heart.
You don't want to listen to
Come on,
Roundabout
Scotty.
for 8 minutes?
Oh my God.
That bass line? You kidding me? It's classic.
With
Anyway,
the gremlin singing. Never mind. Yeah.
Like I said, the biggest thing I'll give this is it's a huge step up from the previous. So, if the album had more of this on it, I think it would have been a better album. Does it have more of this on it? We shall see. We shall see. But yeah, it's like I said, it's at least a step in the right direction. Because I said the last few, well, for me, the last 3 have been less than inspiring.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if track 7 inspires me more.
Never lay your head down without a hand to hold. You never make your bed out in the cold. get hit in a barroom fight. You never lose your woman overnight. Well, you just like
Do you
I'm
like
gonna
Chicago,
go
Scotty?
out on a limb and say that this one probably didn't inspire you anymore, Dave. But again, it's another cover, right? Cover is it's an English folk musician song that he did. It's just kind of light, right? Don't lose your temper when you get in a barroom fight. Don't lose your woman overnight, right? It's kind of, Motley, it's kind of bland, right? They're filling the album, and it's light. It's not the greatest thing you've ever heard. The cat agrees.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just saying his last prayers before he gets barbecued.
Yeah. No, I ain't gonna barbecue her. She's too precious. She's made it to 12 years now, so
She'd
I
be a
believe I'll
bit
let her
tough to
end it
eat.
on out. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. I'll
Scotty's
go
gonna love
along.
this one.
Yeah, this sounds like a bad Fleetwood Mac song. Yeah, we're going down that road now, man. This is a 70s song, dude. Just regular pop 70s folk. That stuff was going around back then still, man, at the time. Hell, even Led Zeppelin was doing them on their damn albums, for God's sakes. I did not like those though. So, and I don't like this one either. Yeah, it's a little bit more of a tempo change from the first two drags that we heard, 4 and 5, but it dropped us back down after 6. I'm sure Dave's going to like this one better than 6 with the sax and the chicks. So, yeah, not inspiring on this one, dude.
No, well, while I said number 6 was pleasant because it was, had a lot more going for it than the few before, this song actually makes it look even better because this is another one of those dull, lifeless, no emotion. It's just someone said bland,
Yeah,
and it's right. It's the right word.
and time out 1 second. I don't know. Jim may not know. I am not a fan of acoustic. I am not a fan of acoustic guitars, man. I hate when bands unplug. I'm a huge fan of.
Album.
Yes, I liked it, but it's nothing to their plugged up versions. I do like how they sung some of their deep tracks, "See You Tonight" and "Plastercaster" and stuff like that. It was pretty cool seeing them do that. But it was okay. And I know the songs. I love the band. The songs were really good, but the songs are way better plugged up. I'm a huge Tesla fan too. And when they unplugged and done that whole damn album, I mean, to me, they just shit the damn bed, bro. It was a shit album with shit songs. And that new one they put on there, or that cover they put on there, I hated it anyway.
But everyone knows you can't unplug a Tesla. It doesn't work.
Yeah, well, they done it when I went and seen them one time, and I wished I hadn't went, but I can't take that back. So
you don't like the acoustic, huh?
I like the best acoustic song I've ever heard is on Kiss Phantom of the Park, where they're playing the acoustic guitar singing Beth.
Okay.
So
he doesn't know that one.
So to me, acoustic guitars, right, have their time and place in songs, right?
Yeah. Now look. They do play an acoustic sound on, like, "I Stole Your Love," but it's tuned in with electric too. You see what I'm saying? It's not just all acoustic. It's acoustic and electric. I can dig that, okay, because it kind of drowns out a lot of the acoustic. Yeah.
Well, so for me, so there are some things that I will do that have a more predominant acoustic. But most of the time, yeah, like you said, mixed with electric, because it gives you a different texture. And sometimes it gives you you can use a different rhythm with it, right? And you can treat it almost not as a percussive instrument, but something that creates a different rhythm, right? And there was a number of bands that did a really good job with it. It's kind of like when bands use distortion and clean electric sounds together, right? You're creating two different sounds, right? And I remember the first band I really liked that did that was Gin Blossoms, right? I almost picked that album. I probably should have, but was Gin Blossoms, where they did a really good job of using acoustic and the two different contrasting electric guitars. It's all about creating textures, right? If everything's doing the same thing, everything sounds the same, you know? So I think acoustic guitars, some songs, they're perfect for them. And other songs, I think they work as good supporting instruments. I typically use acoustic guitars in almost everything I do, but they're mixed in a way that it's not the most prominent part of the song, right? So
well, I was going to say,
another tool in the kit, right, to use.
As Steve has pointed out here, wish you were here. Enough said.
Yeah, well, that's a little different, man. Yeah, I like that.
No, there you go. Steve. Not totally against acoustic.
No, I don't hate it. There's just but when a band does pretty much predominantly the whole album that way, I don't like that. Or they perform live that way and they're not going to be plugged up. I don't like that.
You know, like I just music.
No, I don't like a lot of 60s music at all. I mean, the late 60s is when I started with Hendrix and Zeppelin and Sabbath, Cooper. That's where I come on board.
If he'd have stayed alive, we might have seen Jimi Hendrix Unplugged.
We might have.
Oh, that would have been wild, wouldn't it?
Here's the thing, right? If you can play the song acoustically and play it,
I know it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder.
It's a good song typically, right? You can play it, but if you got to plug in a bunch of crap and throw in a bunch of effects on a guitar to make it a song, then it's not the song anymore. It's the effects, right? So
I like the effects.
Well, the effects are, again, it's another tool in the basket. But if you take away the effects and you sit down with an acoustic guitar, is it still a good song? That's all my point. If the melody,
it's according to what song it is.
Well,
yeah,
all songs should be able to play acoustically, whether it's a piano or a
but I was going to say, most songs would be written either on a piano.
I couldn't imagine hearing Master of Puppets played with an acoustic guitar.
Oh,
that would be something to fucking see right there.
And we should put a petition together to see if Metallica will do an Unplugged.
And look, the acoustics, like I said, they fit. Even Zeppelin played them in a lot of their stuff, man. But they made it work with the electric and the bass and the drums, you know, the power that came with it. That I have nothing against. But all acoustic, no. I don't care. Yeah. I don't care who's playing it.
Somehow, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Which one are we on? Okay. Yeah.
We're on the next one. We've agreed on the last one. It's a little lackluster. So here's the traditional blues song that people probably expected that he would play. He's playing slide guitar, right? He's kind of doing his thing. I like the song. It's okay. It's an old blues song. It's an old one, right? Arthur Crudup wrote it. Traditional blues song. So if you're a traditional blues person and you like a lot of the slide guitar stuff, you're really going to like this. Again, I think because it's the 70s and the way things were produced, right? It just maybe that's it. Maybe they should have got Anton DeLost. I don't know. The whole album feels really just like they're half asleep. Even on a song like this, where if you saw it live, that slide guitar part would probably be ripping a lot more than it is here. So, but it's just, to me, it's a traditional blues song. It's good. It's what he does. But he didn't write it. But he's not a writer of a lot of songs. I mean, he's a guitarist first, I think, and he some of the songs he writes are good, and otherwise he relies on other people to do stuff. But at least it's something different. It's different than everything else because it's traditional blues.
Yeah, this one here, this is my favorite one since track number 2. I'm not saying that I'm crazy about it or anything, but I love blues, especially in rock or hard rock music. I like it incorporated in the music. I think it sounds good. He does a good job with it. I like, even the Cream stuff that they done, when they would incorporate it in and out, it sounded good. This is just an old blues sounding song. That's just, I mean, literally, it's just blues all the way through. I mean, if anybody don't get that out of this, then they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They'd probably say it's classical. No, there ain't nothing classical about it. This is blues all the way. And I can dig it to a certain degree, especially if it was heavier. And, but it's probably my favorite track since track number 2. So I don't really have a lot bad to say about it. It's still a little bit too mellow for me, but I do like the blues incorporated into the music.
For me, this is the best of the ones I don't like. So I don't know if that's a compliment.
There you go. There you go. That's basically what I'm saying. Yeah.
I just wrote down, to me, it's like a leisurely stroll when you actually want to jog.
Yeah.
I feel I just want to get, this album just doesn't get me going. Like I said, it's not a bad, if I was in the right mood, I think this album would be all right in the background. Like, I'd be okay with it. But would I ever get it out of my collection and stick it on? No.
Yeah, it never, like you said, it never lives up to what you think it's going to be when it starts. Yeah. Right? And I think that was your point, is it promises something, it doesn't deliver all the way through. Right? It really stays in a certain, even though I like the album, because don't get me wrong, I used to listen to it all the time, that it stays inside of a certain bubble, and it never really kind of goes out of it, right? Even when it tries to, it doesn't. It never, it's like, I don't know what the beats per minute is on most of this stuff, but I'm going to bet you it's probably between 100 or 90 and 110. There's never anything that really goes and really picks up speed compared to, like, say, when you would do it live. Like, Cocaine was done a lot faster live, right? Lay Down Sally was probably a little bit faster live, just because adrenaline, and those were days before click tracks and all that crap, so that you couldn't play everything the same all the time. It was always going to be different because you were actually live and doing it. So I think that the album itself just has this general laid back mood to it, and it never, and I don't know that I'll blame the producer, Glenn Johns, on that or not. It's just, it's just, it almost, in a way, maybe feels safe. Is that a good word? That feels kind of safe, that it doesn't,
for the mid-70s, yeah,
and run. Yeah. Again, it's like I said, it's kind of this country rock album. It's, so I think it's your turn. Oh, you just did, didn't you, Dave?
Yeah. Well, we always talk about,
you wanted to run and you were walking.
Yeah, well, I was not even walking fast. I'm walking like real slow.
You never got your heart rate up, huh?
No. The ending track, we always say how important it is. Because this
Yes,
one, I
we
mean,
do.
the title Peaches and Diesel, I'm not quite sure what that means.
I like it though. That's just got a catch to it. Peaches and Diesel.
Not the two things you'd normally associate with each other, but
Two opposite things, right? Yeah.
they are. They are.
Let's do it, man.
All right, let's see what this one's like.
So we've kind of talked about closers before. Why do you close with something kind of slow? And yeah, that's what I was going to say. This is kind of like the little brother or little sister to Wonderful Tonight. It's kind of like maybe when he was writing that, he had this riff too, and saved it and did another version of track 2, but did it as an instrumental with a slightly different melody and played a little higher. And they layered some instruments kind of nicely in there. But it's a kind of a, if you're like you said, Scott, if you're in the right mood with the right person, it's just a song you're going to sway to, right, at the end of the night before they shut down the bar or something like that. And so it's a song that doesn't offend you, but it doesn't like make you want to go, do something other than, just dance. But it is very similar to Wonderful Tonight and in that regard. So, and I don't know if that's where he got it from, but that's my take on this song. It, just kind of, if you're listening to it with the headphones on and, you're probably going to fall asleep, just because it's that kind of a thing, right? It's just a dreamy kind of a thing.
Believe it or not, I would probably have said, I wrote my notes, this one song, if had lyrics, it would have probably been the best song on the fucking album. The drums have some punch to it. You can actually hear some cymbals being hit. Good musicianship, almost a little edgy, for God's sakes. Why the fuck didn't he put lyrics with this, man? Okay, he's got his reasons. I don't know. There's some power in these drums, man. There's some good leads going on this, man. And it's an instrumental.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah, who knows why they didn't write lyrics for it or whatever. But as a tune itself, it's okay.
I mean, yeah, I wasn't even going to listen to it all the way through, but I kept getting intrigued by it as it went on. The drummer, man, really picked it up in this song, man. It like I said, it had almost a Cream-like vibe with the drum punch, man, and the guitars and stuff, dude. And I'm not a fan of instrumentals. I don't think nobody is much. But damn it, if it had lyrics for this one, this would probably been the best one on the album. Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Unless I said Fractured Mirror.
Yeah, Fractured Mirror is definitely the best instrumental ever written. That's for sure. So, yeah.
All right, I'm sort of going to pick back. I actually liked it. I think it had a great melody, and I don't have a problem that it doesn't have vocals. I mean, instrumentals, if they're done right, I think they have purpose and meaning. I just don't get why you'd end the album with this.
Yeah, well, there you go. It could have separated two of the slower songs.
It just seems like an odd choice.
Yeah.
To end the album with, like.
But I think as an instrumental, they did enough. They changed it up enough as it went. Right, there was a change in the middle of it. Right, and so it kept it interesting. That's the only problem with instrumentals is they can get repetitious. Right, if you don't introduce new counter melodies and things like that, or you don't start doing a few things different, adding some instruments, all of a sudden it just becomes the same thing over and over. But they got to keep adding things to it that keep your interest. Like I said, I like it, but yeah, I don't know if it ever needed lyrics or not, but compared to some of the other ones we didn't really care for, it was more interesting music.
Yeah, and a lot of these instrumentals are things done in the studio, man, that they really don't plan on putting on the album. But if it turns out right, sometimes these producers and stuff will say, "Hey, man, this needs to go on the album." This has got a good sound and vibe to it. I think that's a lot of what instrumentals turn into. I don't really think they intentionally put them on the albums and make them for the albums themselves. I think they're just in there screwing around, playing around, creating stuff, man. And if somebody likes it, man, and brings it to their attention, man, then sometimes they wind up on the albums. So that's my take on that.
All right. So people have asked what's next week. Well, I will tell. I'll show you what is next week. This is next week, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
We have Foreign of War. I think Scotty will be a little happier with that.
I know.
I will. Except for one thing, but I'll save it till the end.
Always got to save it. Now, also, what I wanted to point out is Scotty and I will be starting a new show as well. Not this week, but next week. And it's this one here. For those about to talk, where Scotty and I will just be doing heavy rock and metal albums. So this will make Scotty happy. This is his happy, safe place.
Yes, it is.
I think we will see the real Scotty come out.
Oh,
and
God.
I, of course, picked the first album, and I've gone with this one.
Mm-hmm. The infamous Rainbow Rising.
Richie Blackmore, Ronnie James Dio, Cozzy Powell on the drums. It's not a ranking, Motley. It's just we'll just like we're doing now. We'll go track by track.
I love hate with that album, but
we'll
really? Get there. Yeah.
And of course, I have pointed out to Scotty as well that probably the week after that, we'll probably hit Black Sabbath's Born Again, which, of course, we had.
I don't know if they'll be able to handle that one or not.
That is, like, I was really shocked when he joined the band. But I reckon it's the heaviest thing they've ever done. I mean,
man.
Yeah.
Between that, Mob Rules and Dehumanizer and Heaven and Hell, those are very, very heavy. Now, the last one Ozzy done with them was pretty heavy, but I don't think Ozzy done one with Sabbath that really reached the heaviness and power of Dio or that Ian Gillan album. Those other singers were shit. I did not like those Sabbath albums at all.
To me, it was just surprising because that was so not Ian Gillan either. Like Deep Purple.
No, you know the story. You know the story about that, right? When he seen the album cover, he went into his hotel room and threw up in the fucking trash can. Shit you. Oh my God. Hey, it's unbelievable. Yeah, it's satanic, it's demonic looking, but it is loud. That purple and red really just in a record store, man, you could see that thing all the way if it wasn't covered by something else.
Well, it's the reason I grabbed it, because I went into the record store.
Yes.
And I went, what's this? Black Sabbath album. And of course, I was expecting it to be Dio on there, but
Dio, yeah,
it wasn't.
But yeah, man, it's going to be interesting, man.
So that's not tomorrow night. That's next Wednesday night. We'll be doing that weekly, Scotty and I. So means I have 5 shows in a row, I think, for me. I do Saturdays, Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays.
Wow.
I might have to quit my real job and just do this one.
Yeah,
There you go, man.
But Mondays, all you got to do is sit there and look good, Dave.
Well, this is true, and that's not easy to do.
I'm telling you, were very, very engaged last night. Good questions. You asked some really good questions. So that was.
Yeah, I was feeling better than I am today. So thankfully, I don't have anything else.
Get yourself better, man.
Yeah.
Get yourself better, man.
No worries. Well, that being said, thanks everyone for checking us out again. Join us next Tuesday night for Foreigner 4, and obviously we need alternatives on Monday night.
And you have Mission Soul Saturday, right?
Yep, and Backtrack back on Patreon on Sunday. So,
Woohoo! No rest for the weary. No rest for the weary.
All right,
yes.
guys. See you next time.
You guys take it easy, man.